This is the story of courage, self-sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond between a brother and sister. The story of Sergei and his younger sister Lena, who, having lost their parents at an early age, were left with only each other. Sergei, the elder brother, always felt responsible for Lena. He was her protector, her support, her entire world. Their life, though not easy, went on. Sergei worked 2 jobs to provide them with a modest but cozy home and food. He never complained, his greatest joy was his sister's smile. Lena, in turn, adored her brother. She admired his strength, his kindness, his ability to always find a way out of difficult situations. One day, as Lena was returning home from art school, her path led through an old, sparsely populated park. Sergei, as always, was worried, but Lena was always very responsible and never lingered. On that fateful evening, however, something went wrong. As time passed, and Lena was still not home, Sergei was overcome with a premonition of disaster. He left his second job and rushed into the park, shouting her name. His heart was squeezing with fear. He searched for her among the trees, among the empty alleys, but found only an unsettling silence. Suddenly, he heard a muffled groan coming from dense bushes. Rushing over, he saw a horrific scene. Lena, bound and gagged, lay on the ground, and 2 men loomed over her, grim, malicious. There was nothing human in their eyes, only cold cruelty. These were maniacs, known in the city for their brutal attacks. Sergei, though exhausted from work, felt a surge of adrenaline. The protector instinct took over. He lunged at one of them, trying to distract them, to give Lena a chance. A brutal fight ensued. Sergei, despite his physical strength, was alone against 2. He took blows, fell, but each time he got up, driven by only one thought, to save his sister. He saw Lena, despite her fear, trying to free herself, her eyes darting between him and her captors. She screamed, but her cries were muffled. At one point, when Sergei managed to push one of the attackers away, he saw the other man pull out a knife. At that moment, he realized there was little time left. He rushed to Lena, trying to free her. He began to tear at the ropes, his fingers numb, but he didn't give up. At that very moment, when Lena was almost free, the second man with the knife attacked Sergei from behind. He inflicted a deep wound. Sergei felt a sharp pain, but he still held on, trying to shield his sister with his body. Lena, finally freed, saw in horror as her brother fell. She screamed, but her voice was drowned out by the rough voices of the criminals. They tried to grab her again, but Sergei, gathering his last strength, pushed them away from her. "Run, Lena! Run!" he choked out, his eyes filled with pain and pleading. Lena, paralyzed by horror, couldn't move. She saw Sergei, bleeding profusely, get up and stand between her and those who wished her harm. He grabbed a branch, ready to defend her to his last breath. The second attacker, enraged by the resistance, lunged at Sergei. The outcome was predetermined. Sergei, weakened by the wound, could not fight back. He fell, but even in his last moments, his gaze was fixed on Lena, on his only family. The criminals, seeing that their victim was dead and fearing the possible arrival of someone else, fled, leaving Lena alone with her brother's body. Lena, sobbing, clung to her brother. He had saved her. He had given his life so she could live. Her world had collapsed in an instant. Her protector, her hero, her brother, was dead. The police arrived at the scene, but it was too late. The criminals were declared wanted. Lena, lost and devastated, was taken to the hospital, and then to an orphanage. Life without Sergei was unbearable. She felt completely alone in this vast, cruel world. But the image of her brother, his last words, his sacrifice, all of it became her inner core. She remembered his dreams, his aspirations, and decided to live on, not just for herself, but for him. Lena enrolled in art school, where she had studied before. She became a talented artist. Her paintings were filled with pain, sorrow, but also hope and love. She often painted her brother, his smile, his eyes full of kindness. Years passed. The criminals were never found. But Sergei's story, his heroic deed, became known in the city. He became a symbol of courage and brotherly love. Lena, despite her tragedy, found the strength to live, to create, and to remember. She knew that somewhere above, her brother was proud of her. She grew up, became a strong woman, but not a day went by without remembering Sergei. His sacrifice was not in vain. It gave her life, gave her a chance to realize her potential, gave her the opportunity to bring beauty into the world through her art, just as her brother had once brought hope and protection into her life. And although the pain of loss will never completely subside, the love for her brother and the memory of his feat will always live in her heart.